and gentlemen, and welcome to my video. Today I kind of want to talk a little bit about real estate. So I took my exam and I am officially a Texas real estate agent. I am so excited. It has been a long, drawn out process. I went through the entire thing, and so I'm here to talk a little bit with you guys about the steps of the process for those of you who are interested in doing real estate, and also kind of tell you my experience and what happened so that maybe you can be a little bit more prepared. So first things first is I actually had to take the exam twice. I passed the national portion, which was 85 questions. And I actually failed the state exam, which is 40 questions, by one question, which of course, is so devastating because if you miss it by 10 points, then okay, like I'm just not ready. Missing it by one, you're like, really? Like 1 point, So needless to say, it was pretty upsetting. I took my exam on Tuesday, and you're really supposed to wait a full business day before you reschedule your appointment. But I was actually able to go online later that evening and actually schedule it for the Friday following. So I took it originally on a Tuesday, and then literally 3 days later, I took it again. I figured take it while it's still fresh on my mind. And so the 2 days in between, I studied. Even the day of the test, I got to the exam place about 30 minutes earlier than the 30 minutes you're supposed to be there, and I studied the whole time in the car. So I will say that the process is very, very easy. When I arrived, well, let me start from the very beginning. So first thing you need to do, and if you are interested in real estate or you've started your classes, my biggest suggestion would be first thing off the bat, before you get so far into your classes or before you get to the classes, is put your application in with Trek. The reason I say that is because this application process can take quite a while, and if you're like me and you're very impatient, going ahead and just getting it done is going to be so much better. I waited until I was completely done with all of my classes to fill out my application and do my fingerprinting and everything. And it ended up taking about 4 weeks for me between the time that I filled the application out and till I could take the test. So if you're just starting real estate or you're interested in it, be sure that you go ahead and just fill the application out first. You can actually fill out the application and get your fingerprinting all done before you even finish your classes. So that's a suggestion right there, because it will help you later on, especially with speeding up the process. So I finished all my classes, did my application, got my fingerprints done pretty much the day after my application was submitted, because usually it takes about 24 to 48 hours for Trek to send you a notification that your application's been processed. Then you go get your fingerprints done. Because I had finished all of my classwork, it was pretty much just a waiting game. I studied my national portion and state portion. I went through Kaplan. So I studied as much as I could with Kaplan. But the process was just so long and drawn out that there was, I think, like a week I didn't study, which probably is what hindered me in the long run or hurt me in the long run, because I didn't have it fresh on my mind. So, I finished my classes, did my application, did my fingerprinting, everything was good to go. I had to wait 4 weeks, like I said, from the time my application was submitted all the way till test day, or till approval for test. So I got approved for my test, and I got that approval Friday evening. I think it was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening. And I was able to schedule my exam for the following Tuesday. So I really didn't have to wait that long for me to be able to take the exam, which is great, because I have heard some people have to wait about a week before they can even take it. I got very lucky. I was able to take it that Tuesday. Because the only other availability they had was about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks out. And I was like, there's no way I'm waiting that long, so I'm going to go ahead and take it on Tuesday. Took it, like I said, I passed the national portion, failed the state portion by 1. A couple tips about the exam. So when you go to take your exam, don't bring anything. Literally just bring your cell phone. I would even leave it in the car if you can. If you don't feel safe leaving in the car, that's understandable. They do have lockers at the testing center. So all of your personal belongings, keys, any pins you bring in. I brought a pin because I thought, well, maybe I can use it. They wouldn't even let me use my own pin. With the calculator, I did not bring a calculator. They provided it to you there at site. I would suggest just use the one that they have, because even if you brought your own, they're going to like clear it out it's just going to be a mess. So to make the process very smooth for you, I would literally bring only the things you need to have, which is your 2 forms of ID. If you need to bring your cell phone in, you can. Of course, you're going to have to leave it in the locker, and then of course your keys. But the process was very easy. I got in there. My exam was supposed to take place at 3:30, but I got there early because they do ask you to arrive 30 minutes before your test. So I got there at 3 o'clock. I was signed in and ready to go at about 3:15. So they were very, very fast. They do a palm print scan, which can take a couple minutes because they do like right hand for a couple seconds and then left hand. And so you do have to do that. So be prepared that you're going to have to do a palm print scan. They also pat you down, which was a little strange to me. And they made me like, I had boots on, and they had me unzip my boots to show that there was nothing like hidden in there. So they do all of that. So be prepared for that. They also had me like shuffle my hair like this to show that I didn't have anything like hidden in my hair. Which was kind of funny because I'm like, my hair's so thin, like putting something in it, you would definitely see it. But so they go through this process. They read you the rules before you enter the test room, and they actually provide you with a piece of paper, a pen, and the calculator. And so they provide all of that for you. What they do is they take you to the computer. They have soundproof headphones, which I thought was really nice. I actually used that for my national portion, which I probably should have used it for the state portion too, but I used it for the national portion because I really wanted to zone in. I didn't want to have to hear the distractions. You have people next to you. You're in a cubicle style, and they're pretty, it came to about behind my shoulder, and it was a good sized cubicle. But I had people on both sides of me, and one person was like clicking his pen. The other person was coughing and like sneezing and all these things. And I felt like I could get distracted. So I went ahead and put the soundproof headphones on, and it really helped me be able to just focus. So I did use those. I ended up taking them off because they started to hurt a little bit for the state exam portion, but they were very helpful. So they do have those available to you. After you finish the exam, there is a very short survey about a couple things. It asks you if you used any of the Pearson VUE. That's who you go through. Did you use any of their study material? Which I did, because Kaplan provides a Pearson VUE study manual. And then it just asks a couple questions about how you felt overall with the process of the exam and the entrance. And overall, I felt it was really easy. So of course, what I went through could be very different for other people. So if you're going to do the survey, which I think you have to do it, make sure that you focus on what happened for you and be as honest as possible, because they're going to use that to kind of tweak or assist with bettering their process. So after the survey was finished, I had to raise my hand, and you have to wait until the test proctor comes to you and escorts you out of the room. So I sat there and I raised my hand. She came and got me, and we left. And you have to scan your palm again so that they know it's you. And then she explained to me that my test results would be ready at the front desk. So I went to the front desk, and they handed me my pieces of paper, which are 2 pieces of paper stapled together. I was going to find them, but I don't think I have them. So anyway, they're 2 pieces. First piece is going to be about the national portion. Second piece will be about the state portion. And it just tells you if you passed or failed. In addition to that, it also tells you what sections you missed. So, for example, mine said, out of 2 questions here, you got 1 right. Out of 7 questions here, you got 6 right, or something like that. So it showed me all of that. It broke it down for me, which helped me a lot, because then when I went home to study, I was able to see the areas that I really needed some improvement in. Luckily, there are, I think, 5 sections. And out of the 5 sections, I only missed 1 to 2 answers per section. So really, overall, I was pretty well balanced. I did see the areas where I needed to study and just hone my skills a little bit more, but overall, I really like that they do that because it allows you to go home and focus on what you need to do. And I will say that when you sign up for the exam, there is a fee. It's about $55. If you fail the exam, to retake it, you do have to pay that $50 again, but you only have to take the section you failed. So you will be waived from the section you passed. So for example, when I took my follow-up on Friday, I only had to take the state portion, which was really nice because the state portion is only 40 questions. For the total time of the exam, they give you about 4 hours and it's divided up. And so I think you get something like 120 minutes for the 85 question, which is national, and about 90 minutes, I think, for the state. I'm not 100% sure on those numbers, but I think that's what it was. I finished my test very, very fast, which kind of scared me. After I submitted my national portion, I panicked because all I thought was I still had over an hour to take my exam. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, did I do something wrong? Did I not take my time? I probably failed. And so I was really, really nervous. And so I was surprised that I passed it because even though I knew the content, I felt like I flew through it. And so yeah, it was just very surprising, but I passed it. So, but as far as the state portion goes, I did study it and I passed it with flying colors on my follow-up portion. So it was really easy overall. But I will say, for those of you who are going to take the exam, just breathe. The whole time I was driving to the testing site and even the hours before, like pretty much the moment I woke up the day of my test, I was panicking. I was like, oh my God, it's testing day. Just, And I realized that after I took the test, I'm like, why was I freaking out? Either you know it or you don't know it. And if you do know it, take your time. You have plenty of time to take that exam. And, although I did pass it, I wish I would have taken my time a little bit more and slowed down and maybe breathed a little bit because I honestly feel like rushing through it can kind of mess with you. And I feel like that may have been what sort of caused me issues with the state portion was I was already panicking after submitting the national portion. So if I would have just calmed down and been like, you know what, it's okay. You'll do it. You've got this. I probably would have done just fine. But panic mode set in and every question was like, oh my God, I forgot it. But yeah. And I will say with the exam is that you submit, so you'll take your national portion first, then the state portion, and you have to submit them. And so it is very nerve-wracking. But if you can take deep breaths, get up and go to the bathroom, you do have to raise your hand. And they did let me know ahead of time that if I go to the bathroom or step away or whatever, my time does not stop. So if you go to the bathroom and you spend 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes you just lost from the time to take the exam. So my suggestion is if you need to step away, just breathe, raise your hand, step away for about 5 minutes, watch the clock, ask them to tell you when 5 minutes is up, and just breathe. Take your time. You have lots of opportunities to take this exam. And honestly, I feel like the national portion is so much easier than I think they put it out there to be. So just take your time. And like I said, if you need to get up, that's fine, but don't take too long. Go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, go unlock your locker, and you have to ask permission to look at your phone. So just let them know, is it okay if I, look at my phone? If they say no, then that's fine. Just sit down and kind of breathe, but take your time. If you need to leave, leave. But overall, I think the whole process is very, very easy. It's just you have to study, you have to take your time, and you have to relax. Because if you aren't relaxed, you'll fail. No, you probably won't fail. But just breathe and take your time, and you'll do fine. But if you have any questions for me that I didn't answer, just leave them in the comment section below, and you can message me as well, and I will certainly try to help you guys out as best I can. I'm going to do another video to talk a little bit about the brokerage firm that I chose and why I chose them. And so yeah, I'm really excited to get started, and I want this YouTube channel to be my foundation so that I can look back and see where I came from, and and how much I've grown. But yeah, if you have any questions for me, please do not hesitate to ask me. That's why I'm here. But I look forward to hearing from some of your stories about your exams. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.